Right, I think we're recording. Haven't been here for a while. Lots has happened. But I've sort of been watching this cryptocurrency thing. Started with Bitcoin. And there's lots of other ones now. If you go on the currency trading or currency conversion websites, there's hundreds of them. So everyone seems to have jumped on the bandwagon. And to a certain extent, the Bitcoin one is working. I don't know what one Bitcoin is worth because it goes up on a daily basis. And I thought, well, there's no cash to back this up really. What it's banking on is people keep putting in. So as you see on YouTube and other places, there's all these adverts, you know, famous people saying to you, oh, I now invest in Bitcoin, I do this. But just recently, sort of alarm bells have been ringing. This chap who genuinely wanted to help India, I think he's the founder of one of the coin systems, and as soon as he donated 1.2 billion of these coins, the value went right down because he had taken that out of the system, and that's a lot of money to take out of one of these systems, which is, there's the old phrase, when the bubble bursts. The Bitcoin bubble, you know, they're backed up by the elite, basically. You know, a lot of famous people like Elon Musk and people like that have put their money into it and are pushing it like mad, so that small investors, even with just £1, can invest in one of these really easy to use websites, but they gain £1 from you. So it's a sort of last ditch attempt. I don't know what's happening in the rest of the world, but in England we've got payday loans, loan sharks, where you could borrow a bit of money before payday, but you really do pay for it. You know, 2,000–3,000%, and the base rate is below 1%. So why are you paying 2,000? Because it's, I suppose it's because it's high risk, and it's a way of the very, very rich investing, or the banks investing for them. They probably don't even know about it. Banks investing for them, lending this money to the payday loan sharks, and they get the money back off you in interest. And whereas, because the interest rate is below 1, there's no point investing it in anything else because you don't make any money. So then there's the equity release. This is a new thing, whereby, say you've got 100,000 invested in your house, or you've paid your mortgage and everything, your house is worth 100,000. You can say to the equity release company, I want 20,000 of that. So what they do, they give you the 20,000, which they've had to borrow from the rich people, giving to the banks, giving to them. So you get your 20,000, which you spend on whatever, redecorating the house or whatever. But that 20,000, there's something like 6% interest. I think it's a bit lower now for some. 6% interest added onto that every year. So your 100,000 next year is 106. And the year after that isn't 112 because you've added the 6,000 on, getting interest for that. So it's 113, 114,000. And every year it goes up. And the day you die, they get it. You know, they sell the house for you, or you sell the house, or that your kids sell the house, but you have to pay them back, plus the interest. But the good thing is you don't actually pay anything. So, but that's another way of the rich investing, and then not many people were taking that up. I suppose there are quite a few, because of the times we're in. But again, they're taking advantage of the times we're in. People are taking money out of their houses. So, third thing, cryptocurrency. They've put their money in, but in order to see their money grow, they have to tell everyone how good it is and make it very, very easy to invest. So you can now take your pound out of the bank, put it into one of these sites or by credit card, and it will grow at a terrific rate all the while everyone's putting in. It's like a Ponzi scheme. You know, as soon as I won't go into that, but that's slightly different. But it's basically, you know, it's allowed. And they know that although the bubble is quite strong, because it's got a lot of top people relying on it, but if they all say to each other, right, let's take our money, and all go for it on one day, they all get the top rate. Everyone else, it comes down so quickly that nobody else will get their money back. And then it'll be fizzled out. And what they'll tell you is, oh, it was an investment. All investments are risks. It's like shares. Shares is gambling, really. You know, not state-sponsored, but state-allowed gambling. You can go and buy shares, and then one day, you know, it's been happening. Company boss turns around and says, right, let's take our shares now. They can retire. Company goes bust. You don't get a penny. Woolworths. Things like that. Philip Green took the pension fund. He did. Or so they say. But anyway, so what you've got with cryptocurrency is, I don't know whether I can do a diagram of it even. Elite. Right. They've got money, obviously lots of it. They put it into the cryptocurrency bit, I'll put, just for the time being. They then invest in adverts to tell you to put your money in. Now that can only last so long, especially because we've got no money. Nobody's got any money. So basically, I don't know, can you see that? I don't think you can. Alright, so yeah, basically that's, you know, there's only a certain amount of people who will eventually put their money in. When that starts to slow up, this lot will then take their money back, leaving nothing in here for you lot. In other words, the bubble bursts. Bubble's strong, but being a bubble, it will burst. So that's the one reason. And that's really the last ditch attempt for them to make money. Or it's another thing they've thought up. I don't know how long it's going to last, basically. Now, in the other sections, this is State of the World. In the other sections, we talk about money and basically how to get rid of it. Now, I sort of sent out an email to all the Project X people, there's 480 odd emails, saying, can anyone say what is going to disappear if the monetary system disappeared? Things like banks, for instance, that they won't be needed. Tills in shops, you know, little things like that. So, you know, at the moment, money is a big sort of mud that you have to try and wade through to get what you want. You know, people are doing 2 and 3 jobs, working 18 hours, you know, just to get the money to survive. And everyone else sees that and thinks, right, I'll add money onto this, I'll add money onto that. So whatever you're earning, they think, oh yeah, they can afford that now, we'll put the price up. Supply and demand, your money's gone anyway. So, but the money system on the UFO section tells you of the Centre of Excellence system, whereby jobs come to your mobile. You have to be qualified in that job. You can't just buy a load of plumbing tools and have some cards made like you can now and call yourself a plumber. So basically, jobs come up on the job system of people who have passed their certificate in that subject. You go and do the job. While you're doing the job, you video it, whatever. All those people sat at home who were plumbers can rate your job. Either retirees or, well, anyone. You're not restricted to being retired, because retired is a money thing. So you can retire every single evening if you want, and then reinstate yourself every single morning. You know, but you can't do a job unless you've been to the Centre of Excellence and passed the test. Then the Centre of Excellence, because there's no money, gives you all the best tools and a van, or whatever the transport system is at the time, and off you go and do your job. You get a percentage closer to going to your Centre of Excellence. And if you don't want to work, you've got your free house, your free transport, your free food, and your free mobile-based entertainment, be it video, music, gaming, TV, whatever. So you won't have to do anything if you don't want to. But if you want to go to a hobby sort of Centre of Excellence, or a gym, or somewhere that French food, French cooking, you know, expensive cooking, there will be a Centre of Excellence for it. If there isn't one, and you think, oh, I want to do something, but it's quite, nobody would have done one yet, you can say, I want to do this Centre of Excellence. And you get land to either build, most structures are underground, because by apparently 20 or 30 years time, the weather's going to be so bad that we're just going to have tornadoes and hurricanes and rain the whole time. So we will be driven underground eventually, according to the UFO. So basically, that's money. Now, whereas in the monetary system, suddenly no jobs to do, you go bankrupt and starve to death. But no jobs to do in a Centre of Excellence system, you immediately go to the top, to 100% full. I can't call it a currency because it's fluid. And then all the places you wanted to go come up on your mobile. So you choose one, jump in your buggy and go there. So, you know, there's obviously a limit to how many days you can spend there, because there'll be jobs coming in. What you don't want, I think I've said it already in the other monetary system, is to be sitting there on the beach drinking your drink, and suddenly a job comes in and your percentage goes down and you think, oh my God, quick, I've got to go and do that. If there's nobody there to do it, and what you'll have is, if there's 5 plumbers in one area, and 4 are sitting on the beach, you'll get one doing all the jobs. So there has to be some kind of sharing out system, and you'll be limited to how many weeks or days or months even. If everyone's done their job really well, then just say for instance you've changed everybody's house into the area into absolute titanium plumbing and gold-plated taps and the whole works. There's nothing, literally nothing left to do. No water leaks, nothing. All 5 of you have created that for yourself. A bit like plumbers working and getting the money in and getting the nice car and the nice house. It's the same. So you can do what you like. You know, so one way or another, even if you're not sitting there the whole time doing nothing, and you create your own perfect environment in your field of expertise, then the same thing happens. You end up doing nothing again. Now, but you can go to all your centres of excellence until the day when somebody gets a burst pipe. So therefore, all the jobs will be done absolutely perfectly. At the moment, there's no point doing jobs perfectly, and you get the cheapest item, which is going to fail, be it a shower unit or whatever, and you will end up going back and keep going back and going back and earning money, which you have to do, otherwise your job fails, doesn't it? It's the same as a factory. Factory's got to keep churning, otherwise all the workers are sitting around there and the money's still flying out the door to the wages and to the rent and whatever. But there isn't any of that in a non-monetary system. And if you're walking into your factory one day and you see a bit of roof off, you go, oh, roofer, my roof needs fixing. And he comes and does it. He goes to his centre of excellence. You even get a few percentage of whatever it is closer to going to your centre of excellence for reporting it. You know, you could probably get to a centre of excellence while walking around the countryside going, oh, there's a pothole here. He needs that gate. His gate needs painting. He probably doesn't even know. His gate needs painting. And you can walk around the country putting in jobs and earning money. Well, I shouldn't say earning money, but earning what would be money, which is you can't really call it money because money is a fixed item, a fixed amount. But the Centre of Excellence percentage system can suddenly go to 100% if everything's done. So you're going to want to get things done. You're going to want to use the best equipment, or you're going to get the best equipment, because there's no point building lower. I mean, there isn't, you know, you can get a snap-on spanner, or you can get a Chinese-made forged spanner that's going to snap as soon as you try and turn something. What's the point of having all those other ones? Just, you know, just make the snap-on ones. You see what I mean? Forget about all the rest. That'll all go, because it's a money-based thing. Now, what I'll do is I'll do a second, when all the emails are in, because there's some fantastic things that I would never have thought of in there, I will do another video on all the things that are eliminated with money. Because you see, at the moment, all countries are heading for the ideal 100% employment. That way, they're not giving out rents to people, they're not giving out benefits, which is why everyone comes to England, because of the free money. In fact, somebody getting £100 in this country and sending £10 back to their country, they live like lords. So that's why they stay in this country. All that will be gone. You know, their country will be up to the quality of this country within, say, 10 years, if not less, if you got rid of the monetary system. So all those people living in mud huts will be living in brick-built buildings. But believe me, you're better off. I mean, as you can see in the, is it Tornado Alley in America? Tornado rips through. Tornado doesn't know what it's doing. But it destroys. I mean, they've got wooden houses for some reason. Why have they got wooden houses? And even if you had a brick house, it'd rip the roof off. So eventually we'll have to go underground. Underground, again, you don't waste heat. Doesn't matter what the weather's doing above you. It doesn't matter. There's so many things. Much more secure. Not that anybody will be trying to rob you, because there's no money. No point robbing something because you can't sell it. Things aren't worth anything. You're taught in school to value everything as a historic item or something somebody's made. So that's why you keep it on your mantelpiece. Not because it's worth £100. You know, people are keeping things they don't even like because they're worth money. like me. I mean, I've got tons of rubbish back in Wales. But anyway, that's the cryptocurrency problem. You know, I can see it failing, not necessarily at this minute, but those who have got cryptocurrency in have got to take their cryptocurrency out the very, very second they see a problem. Because I don't know whether you've seen these massive computers you buy to do your dealing for you, but they work in absolute nanoseconds. So they can take all your money out in a nanosecond. So, you know, and only the rich can afford those. So believe me, I just sense trouble. And, you know, no money in this system we're in now is only going to create bands of robbers who are starving, who are going to want to go and get food. Because food costs money, if there isn't any, and all the people who own buildings all still want their rent. You know, all the tax man still wants his tax, the car people still want the insurance to get for you to go for MOT. None of that, none of the money there has changed. It's all the same money, and yet nobody's got any. So there's only one way, and that's down. So I really, you know, really don't know what's going to happen. But I think, you know, the rich, we all know that even with this pandemic on, they're all still gathering, hoovering the rest of the cash up from us. You know, it's a big job for them, but they will manage it, and then we'll be killing each other for starvation. But they're not bothered about that either, because 800 million people is the limit for this size of globe, for this size of planet, to cope with. We're nearly 7 billion. So, you know, something's got to give. There's going to be a lot of death. And, you know, they're trying it. You know, I don't know what link Soros has got with the Virology Institute in China. Some people say he's been there. But how do we know they haven't planned all this? These variants, you know, I can see that, you know, India is getting it really bad at the moment, and I've got a feeling they're testing the different viruses for the big push. Because although they won't be alive, they seem to want to sustain the planet, probably for their kids. So, you know, one of the things that's got to happen is population reduction. Now, we are at a tipping point where if, for instance, Indians and all those people who traditionally have huge families realise that that's not the way to go now, it's very possible that we could get back to 800 million, and then we'd all have everything we ever wanted, because there'd be enough money to go around. They wouldn't be eating all the food, and we wouldn't be eating all the food. You know, we're just as bad. So I have a feeling that at this point, as of, what are we, 14th of May 2021, we could still get back to where we're at. I mean, the Western countries have started. You know, we've gone from 2.2 children when I was born to 1.6 per family now. But, for instance, there are people who argue that in England, Islamic families and Muslim families are still having 10 and 12 kids. You know, so eventually, you know, we don't know whether that's a takeover thing. We really don't know, or whether it's just because of their tradition. I don't know. But if we're only having 1.6 and they're having 12, we will be out eventually. You know, That's another side of it. But it won't do them any good because the planet won't last. So they're really rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. If that's the problem. Just checking the time. I do not want to go over half an hour because, for instance, you know, I can't sit through a half an hour video, so I can't see anyone else doing it. Right, so that's cryptocurrency. I've got a few other videos coming up. I'm still fighting with the X project to say whether I should carry on saying the videos of the X project, which is again a system for dealing with the problem we're in. It's a bit radical, but what it does is it's a fast track to the system that I was shown on the UFO. Now if you go to the UFO section, you'll see what I mean. Basically, we get to a point where we could all do whatever we like. You know, we're only working because of money is why we have to work, to keep the government, and then they have to use money to keep the country running. And then with the country system, everyone has to have an army, which takes up half the money. You know, now that could all be eliminated in one go. The system's in place. I don't know how rickety it is, but my dad basically installed everything around the world, had it installed, and again, the elite paid for it. It's just that we didn't give them full control, or any control, because otherwise they would have tried to eliminate us a lot quicker. In fact, we probably wouldn't be sitting. I probably wouldn't be sitting here now if they had the codes. Anyway, cryptocurrency, there it is. Thank you very much.